Hey guys, today I want to share with you my personal How I Met Your Mother story, and one of the better stories that I certainly believe is out there. I do this because I want to not only share with you something positive, but also demonstrate how occasionally in life you just have to take risk. And the more risk you're comfortable taking with the potential upside, the better your life will be. So here's my story. I had been traveling in the summer of 2016 around Europe for a couple of months, and then made my way over to what's my favorite country to visit, Thailand. And I was having a great time. I was doing yoga at the park in Bangkok, meeting people, and then I went south to the beaches. I kind of melted in to the beaches of Krabi. They were just stunning. I didn't really want to leave, but my 30-day visa was coming to a close, so I headed back to Bangkok. I had previously returned a mat that I had borrowed to a friend because I was leaving, and I recognized the fact that the teacher was going to be instructing that afternoon at the park. On a whim, I messaged her and said, "Hey, do you happen to have an extra mat?" She messaged me back immediately saying, "I was just leaving, I was out the door, let me go run in and get one for you." At that point, I got to go to class. I'm roped in, I'm contractually obligated. So rather than watch Better Call Saul on Netflix, I head on over to the park. And I meet her, there's one other student in the class, we're getting set, ready to begin, and it starts to pour. I mean, this is a tropical deluge. Nothing, it's not like the easy rain that you might see on the West Coast. This is a deluge. And soon after, moments later, a man shows up and he says, "Hey, you guys are under the awning here. Do you mind if we merge yoga classes with yours?" The teacher looks at me, I look back at her, we nod at each other, and I look at the guy and say, "Bring it on. Bring everybody over." So a group of about 8 people traipses over. They have their mats, they have their bags, they set them down, and that's the first time that I saw my wife, Elle. She was beautiful. Immediately, you just go for it. You see something and you just say, "Hey, I'm going to strike up a conversation with her." I started talking with her. Class interrupted our convo, much to my chagrin. The rain continued to intensify and everything was wet. The mats were slippery, the concrete was slippery. It was actually probably the most dangerous yoga class that you could have taken. And after class, we probably didn't even last the full hour allotted because of the storm. And I started to speak with her again after class. I got her information. I found out that she had come an hour out of her way, and she's a teacher, and she was set to teach at her kindergarten the next day. She had come at the behest and an invite of another new teacher at her school, so they had ventured over all the way to the park a long ways, and I almost didn't go. If I had messaged the teacher a minute later, she probably would have been out the door and too far away to get the mat. I probably wouldn't have gone. And then the rainstorm that then brought us together. But I didn't even think anything of it because I was leaving the following evening to go back to the United States. I posted on Facebook something that I had written previously about Bangkok and noted the fact that she liked it. Sent her a message, didn't hear back. Got on the plane, went back to the United States. When I landed, there was a message from her. Messaged her back. We started communicating over video, and I just knew that this was somebody that I had to see again because she made me laugh. And I'm not the most serious person in the world, despite some of the videos I might have had politically. I'm very unserious, and if somebody doesn't have a sense of humor, we're not going to meld together because I'm going to drive them batty, and I can't handle somebody who's too serious. But she made me laugh. So after a few times of this hour-long conversations, I said, "Hey, you know what? I can still head on over back to you, and I would love to do that. And if I do, then, go out with me." And she thought I was pretty crazy, which maybe there's something to her theory. And she says, well, I mean, you can come. Are you sure? I'm not promising you a thing if you come. You're coming at your own risk. I'll go out with you, but that's as far as I'll go. That's what she told me. And I said, I'll take that risk. In life, you simply have to take a risk once in a while based on the intuition that you have. And a couple of weeks later, I boarded a plane, and she told me I was coming there on a school night, and she rarely, if ever, leaves her apartment on a school night because she has to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. My plane got in at 10 o'clock at night. By the time I got through customs, immigration, deboarded the plane, it was probably going to be around 11. And she insisted on meeting me. Despite my protestations, she said, no, I'm going to meet you there. You've come all the way here. And I said, it's unnecessary, etc., etc. She insisted. And when, after that 24-hour trip almost, after I got through customs and immigration, and I walked through the terminal, and there she was, and I gave her a hug, and we drove in a taxi cab back to her area of Bangkok, and I got to the room that I was staying in. I was renting a place very close to her, and the next night we went out for dinner. I have to tell you though, when I found her at the airport, I was incredibly grateful, and I knew that this was much more likely to be the one, so to speak, el uno, if you want to put it another way, that she had done so. And it was, and we traveled around, we had dinner, and it was great, and we made each other laugh, and we were attracted to each other, and she was due for a break in her school, and we traveled around northern Thailand together for 2 weeks. We would show up at these little bed and breakfasts, and they would just assume that we were a couple, and we asked for separate rooms, and much to the surprise and delight, profit-wise, of the bed and breakfast owner. But we did that for 2 weeks, and we haven't been apart since. And we have a second child who's about to be born in a month, and we're very, very excited. But the point is just to share a story that you probably don't hear in this internet dating age where you meet on Tinder, and the need that sometimes in life you just have to risk it. You just have to go out there and say, balls to the wall, maybe, just maybe it's going to work out, and if it doesn't, I'll have a story, because you'll always have a story. And if you take a risk, and whatever it is, my hope for you is that you'll have a story like this one. Peace and blessings. Share this video if you think it'll inspire somebody and make somebody's day just a little bit